On Chili Bowl Saturday night, while Logan Seavey and the Swindell SpeedLab team were celebrating their Chili Bowl Nationals win and their first Golden Driller in 10 years, there were all sorts of media people in the mix down there on the racetrack. Photographers, videographers, all sorts of media people capturing all of those moments. And I'm sure you've seen some of those photos and some of the video from that period of time after he took the checkered flag all the way through the victory lane celebrations. And one of the main videographers in the mix was Swindell SpeedLab's own Dylan Schiebel. And Dylan's name is probably not one you've heard. If you have, maybe you're lucky, but most people probably don't know that name. You're not going to recognize the face necessarily, but you know Dylan's work. He runs the Swindell SpeedLab YouTube channel. He handles a lot of their creative, and he does graphics and creative for a lot of other drivers as well. Dylan joins me on this episode of DIRTRACKR Conversations to talk about that incredible night at the Chili Bowl and also all sorts of things around content creation. We talk about cameras, we talk about editing software, we talk about how he approaches a night and capturing content, which will then later be shared across the SpeedLab channels. And SpeedLab has really been kind of at the forefront of a lot of the, the video stuff that we've seen capturing behind the scenes content. So if you're interested in dirt racing content creation, if you're interested in content creation at all, this will be a great episode. You're going to get to hear all about all kind of sorts of nuts and bolts things behind content creation. So enjoy this episode with Dylan Schiebel. You are one of those people that I feel like race fans, if they see you, they probably don't necessarily know who you are, but they have seen your work everywhere. And whether that's with Swindell SpeedLab, whether that's with any of the other number of teams that you help out do social media stuff. But I want to have you on the show. Obviously, we're just coming off the Chili Bowl and an incredible week for, Swindell and Kevin and Jordan and you guys, that are all involved in that team. So I definitely want to talk about that. And I want to talk about just kind of content creation in general. But just start me off with those last few laps of the Chili Bowl feature on Saturday night and where you were, what you were feeling, just run me through maybe like the last 10 laps and then kind of what transpired afterwards.
I think it was about 10 to go. And I'm just like, I'm standing on the stage doing my thing, like in 3 and 4, getting all the slow-mo stuff down there. I kind of like feel my hand shaking a little bit because I was like, this is going to happen. I'm like staring at, like, I'm watching Tanner too. I'm like, I really don't want him to get the nose underneath him. I think it got down to like, they threw the white and I saw the gap that he had. I was like, okay, we're good. And then that yellow came out as soon as he's coming off of like turn 4 to take the checkered. And I seriously about spiked my camera. I got pretty animated, and usually I don't get animated, but coming around for the checkered, like thankfully, like he got a great restart. Tanner wasn't really able to get him down the backstretch coming to the checkered. And I made sure I got my checkered flag shot, and I became unglued. Like that was a big sigh of relief and just like shockwave I felt everybody could feel from the infield. And I'm sure everybody could feel shockwave from everybody's reaction. Joe's in the tractor, everybody on the ramp, Kevin in 3 and 4 in the grandstands. And I don't know, I was just everybody finally got to get that big exhale out. Like we did it. Like it was great.
Talk to me through like kind of just through that week in general with, kind of the launch of Victory Fuel and, really even having an extra car there. In the past it's been 2, but this year was basically 3. What did that week play out like? Was it busier than a normal Chili Bowl, or was it just kind of business as usual?
Really it was just us with the Victory Fuel car. Everything down the pit area was his own thing, and we were just our own one car. So it was a little, throughout the week, it was a little more relaxed, but getting prepared for it was really, really, really stressful. They were so far behind on getting stuff delivered for the car to where they couldn't even get it they couldn't even start building it till like the first week of December or whatever. And just getting all the branding right for the car. And like, I had to go home for Christmas, so I wasn't even home when they wrapped the car, and we're still adding stickers to it. We're still getting t-shirts printed. We're still building a website for Victory Fuel at the moment. But no, everything actually turned out really good. We finally got the car built and fired. I think it was Saturday afternoon, ready for practice. And we were a little nervous on how that was going to go, but like just the initial launch of everything as soon as we got to the racetrack was just even better than any of us expected. And like it was stressful to get a reveal kind of going, but we got everything built. We kind of soft launched it and kind of let the results do the talking.
What have the days been like since then? Did you come home Sunday? Did you guys wait so you could kind of hang out a little bit more? Like what's happened since then?
We partied that night in the expo until about I think it was about 4 a.m. when I walked out of the expo. I think we were the very last trailer to get hooked up. But no, the next day we got out of our Airbnb. We started driving back to Charlotte. We actually stopped in Little Rock to see Joe's family, just kind of clean up a little bit, get some stuff unloaded, and then I think it was the next morning. Yeah, we stayed that night and kind of relaxed a little bit. We drove all of Monday, got home pretty late. Monday, I kind of started doing a little bit. I made sure I got the onboards done. So I'm a little ahead of it. And I think all the last 2 days, I've just been staring at this computer screen, just going through all the footage, checking my marks to make sure I'm not missing anything. And doing a lot of screen recording too, of like getting like audio from the broadcast, stuff like that. But I think everybody besides me have just been pretty relaxed, except for today. They're actually at the shop right now. They're shipping orders like crazy. So it is a good problem to have, but they are busy in that shop right now preparing orders.
What would you say, like, do you have a specific title or a specific role with SpeedLab? Because I feel like, I obviously know you and your content creation, but, we see you riding the four-wheeler, like pushing the sprint car around. And, I made that tweet thread like not long ago where you're like working in the shop and cleaning things up. And like, do you have like a specific role there? Or are you just kind of like, I'm content guy, but I'm also going to do whatever else I need to do?
It's not really a specific role. Ever since I joined them back in, I think it was 2016, I showed up with a camera and said, let's do some digital stuff. Let's just kind of make this brand look clean. Let's build a nice website, get the products looking good, make some cool videos, take some photos. But I already had kind of a sprint car background. I grew up in Ohio. My uncle is Nate and Mike Dussel. We grew up, or I was basically born into it. Mike was racing 360s at Lima. Nate was running 305s at Fremont by the time I think I was like 8. So I've always been in the sprint car thing. But no, I've a lot of the time during the week, like in the shop or whatever, maybe sometimes I have some downtime and like Hardy needs help. Like it's literally just Hardy and Kevin in that shop. And like, sometimes they need help. And I feel like I know enough, and Kevin's taught me so much. My dad's taught me so much to where I feel like I can help when they need it. So yeah, I will always throw a hand in to help get it. Like if the car can't make it to the racetrack, I cannot do my job. So I definitely will always put a helping hand in for them.
When did you kind of start doing content and, video and graphic stuff? Like, how did that all get kicked off?
Fun. Have you ever played R Factor?
Of course.
Yeah. So it all started from R Factor. All the like the custom skins you can make, and then like guys would make like little like what was it, like the Sim Chili Bowl hype videos, and so it really all started from that. And then my dad bought me a camera for my birthday. It was like some Panasonic like handheld thing, and I was like, cool, I'll take it to the racetrack. Let's sit in the infield at Fremont and see what I can make. So it really kind of just spouted from there. I pretty much started, like, I was in love with Loud Pedal, Tim Truex, Mike Truex. Like, I was like, oh my God, this is the greatest thing ever. Like sprint cars, dubstep, like this is sick. So I kind of took off, like literally just copying them, like finding like a cool song I like, go to Fremont, like just shoot stuff, like make something at the end of every night. And then it just kind of spiraled for there. Like people liked it. Like people at the racetrack started hiring me to do stuff. I got hired by the racetrack to do stuff. It was kind of the same thing with Kevin. Like we're sitting there playing R Factor one night and he's just like, you want to come help me do stuff? And like, next thing you know, I'm in Belize shooting a wedding, and then the rest is history.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say the R Factor stuff, because literally the first website I ever built was because of the old NASCAR game. And we used to do the same thing. Like we would all make our own paint schemes, and it was somewhere to like put my stuff online so we'd be able to share it. So it's interesting like how we kind of have those similar things that we get into that take us down these like interesting paths or whatever. But right now, I know you do stuff obviously for Swindell, but we see your graphics show up other places too. What other teams, what other drivers are you helping out right now?
Right now I think, or what would it be? One, two, three. I think I'm helping almost nine teams now. The graphics thing really started just because when we don't race, like let's say the Outlaws go out west, we're not racing. I'm kind of like I do our stuff throughout the week, but like sometimes I get a little bit of FOMO because like they're not racing, or I'm like, man, I want to be at the racetrack. So I think the graphics thing was kind of my way to still be involved while they were away. But right now, or all last year, I did Sunshine, Sweet, Gravel, Brady. Oh, who else was there? Right now I have.
You did Buddy, right?
I did Buddy, yes, all the Crouch stuff, Brenham as well. Just a bunch of guys kept just hitting me up. Like I would just post it. Then next thing you know, I get a DM like, hey, can you like do this for me? I was like, of course, yeah, I love doing it. So I don't know. It's nice to be involved in a different way other than video. It's funny because I think I opened Photoshop way more than I do Premiere now. Like I feel like I spend all my time in Photoshop when I'm technically a video guy.
Yeah.
No, the graphics thing's really cool. It's like it's a very different way to express the art form a little bit.
Do you have a plan? Like, my stuff, I started out as this was going to be a podcast, and I started the YouTube channel just kind of as a way for there to be like some added, kind of ways for people to find it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of flipped on me where it's like now the YouTube channel is way bigger than the podcast has ever been. And I'm wondering how much like strategy stuff you guys talk about with the SpeedLab YouTube channel. Are you guys planning things out in advance? Like what are the conversations like in the beginning? Like were Kevin and Joe always cool with you, capturing all of the things that you capture and creating kind of those like almost vlog style videos for a race night? Or, do you have to kind of convince them that's the direction? Like, what are those kind of strategy things you guys have talked about?
There's a lot of content strategy going into it in the early days, but it was mostly like those short form ads, like 30 seconds. Let's promote the website, promote the merch, and we'll do like some cool little recap stuff. But I was Jacksonville 2018, 18 or 19. Hunter was racing, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna do something a little different. I'm going to hit record at the start of the night and just not stop until we're done racing. And that video kind of sucked because we ended up crashing, running second in the heat race. But no, that video actually like went over really well. I think it was like 10 times more the views in one night than any of the videos we put out. I was like, oh wow, this vlog stuff works. I didn't think it would. But before that, we were just doing like raw onboards, unedited. But I think people really like the behind the scenes conversation, like talking after the race about like how the car felt, blah, blah, blah. Like people really like hearing that because like you don't hear that stuff in interviews when they do their post-race stuff. So no, I kind of didn't ask. I kind of just did it and just kind of made sure I made sure I was on the same page with everyone of like what not to show and everything like that. But like we kind of built it without really talking about it. We kind of just did it.
Are there moments where you capture something and they're like, don't put that in?
Yeah, there's always going to be stuff like that. Like I'm always going to be recording at the racetrack, and like it's usually someone will like look over. It's like we'll make eye contact and we'll both be like, yeah, that's not like, I don't have to include that, but like, no, I feel like everybody's pretty well on the same page of like how we should represent the brand like that. Those moments really never happen. Like those are very rare occurrences for like someone to be like, don't show that. But no, it's just part of it when you're recording all night, basically.
Do you like what you guys have had like a number of drivers kind of through the sprint car team? You know, we've seen Bell, we've seen Pittman, we've seen Baston and all these different guys. Like, do you have to have some sort of conversation with them about, hey, like we're capturing all of this stuff and here's what we're going to do with it? Or like when they come drive that 39 car, do they already know that what they're signing up for?
When it was still pretty new, yeah, we would have the conversation like, hey, like I'm here, I'll be recording all night. Like I promised like not to like intrude on your like personal space or whatever. Everyone was really cool about it actually. Like no one was ever weird about it. I actually one of the easiest going guys was Darren. I expected him to be like don't like show that, but like Darren was great to be around. I really liked racing with Darren. Um even Bell was good on camera, and I thought like sometimes the NASCAR thing would make him not want to show some things, but no, he was really open to just about everything. And everybody, especially like now, everybody knows what to expect. Like coming into it, like I'll just be around. I won't like hinder anything. It's kind of like I don't want to be the guy literally shoving a lens in your face or like putting an onboard in your vision in the car. Like never going to be that guy, but always be around recording, and usually like everybody's cool about it.
I want to talk a little bit more kind of just about Chili Bowl and kind of, you know, the differences and kind of what you need to do to kind of capture content. You know, whether that's with, you know, GoPros and onboard footage, whether that's with whatever handheld camera you have. Do you approach Chili Bowl different than other events? Are there other events that provide like different challenges? You know, is it all kind of the same? Like, you know, do you have thoughts one way or the other about, you know, kind of capturing content at the different events through the season?
Yeah, everywhere varies. You can go to some places where there is not a bad angle in that place at all, and you can go through it with a breeze. But I mean, some places are a little challenging. Like the onboards will always be the same, but I think a lot of my B-roll pit shots, I think the hardest place to ever shoot at just anything in general is Chili Bowl. Just the amount of people in the infield, the amount of people in the pit area, the limited space you have to shoot stuff, which is like nothing wrong with the facility. Like you're fitting a tiny racetrack in this building with surrounded by grandstands. It's just you get limited to some places you can shoot. You can get a little bit creative with some bigger lenses on the outside of the racetrack, but shooting through that fence isn't fun. It's dark in there. So like from a photographer, videographer standpoint, like it's really hard to shoot in there. Another hard place is probably Eldora. Beautiful facility, like great to shoot from, but like same thing with like, there's only so many places you can shoot from in the infield. They don't let you stand outside of the racetrack. So that one's a little hard. Other than that, everywhere is pretty easy. I think my favorite place, what would be my favorite place? Putnamville. I love Putnamville. So like that stand outside of turn number 4 in qualifying, favorite angle of all time. Doesn't matter what race car it is. I love that place.
When you are in a situation like you were on Saturday night at the Chili Bowl, where, you know, you are a part of the team, but also, you know, you need to capture moments, like how difficult is it to like be in the middle of that, but also know that you need to have your camera rolling?
Yeah. From the checkered flag being dropped, I don't even remember when I hit stop on the record button. Like from the checkered flag drop to all the way through victory lane photos, that thing recorded the whole time. Like I did my little celebration on the stage, and then next thing you know, I'm looking over like, okay, is he gonna do donuts? What's he gonna do? And so I hop off the stage. He throttled it up around the rowdies, and then he started slowing down. I was like, okay, he's doing exactly what he did the night before. So I kind of broke a media rule at the Chili Bowl. They really don't like you running on the racetrack when a car is still kind of rolling. But I knew where he was going, so I just did not care. I ran straight on that racetrack. I was going to be the first person out there, and I literally just shoved that camera right through the front of the car, and I was going to be there for that no matter what. And like, I'm sorry to all the Mav TV and Flow guys, but I was throwing elbows down there to get what I needed.
I love it. The experience of the Chili Bowl is obviously not like anything else, on, in motorsports in general, like not even just in dirt racing, but just, kind of in general, the Chili Bowl is, kind of unique. Are there things when you go to the Chili Bowl that you want to capture specifically? And obviously, being in a situation where you can win that event and go on the stage with the Golden Driller, but, there seems to be, a lot of stuff that kind of comes out of that week in terms of content. More and more people are, have onboards and things like that. But, are there ways you can innovate in that building? Were there things that you want to do? Were there things that you want to do that maybe you didn't get a chance to do? I'm just curious kind of about the total kind of, content capture of that event specifically.
Yeah, every time I go there, I kind of develop a little bit of a shot list. Obviously the driller, outside, because you don't really get you don't really have a lot of opportunities, especially if the weather's bad, to get like a nice sunny shot of it. Something I really tried to do different this year is like just not a standalone like just frame of the driller, because like I have so many of those. Everybody has so many of those. I really wanted to mix it up doing like the hyperlapse stuff where it's like a time lapse but you're moving. I did that a bunch. I kind of like shot like the architecture of the building itself, like the SageNet Center, like how they have the supports on top of the building, like how they glare in the sun or whatever. Tried to do a bunch of that like throughout the week because I had nothing else to do. Like I was just literally hanging out. So I went and shot, like tried a couple different things down in the infield, try to get a little bit of different angles. My practice day stuff was really fun because like the light comes through that window. So you have like a crazy glow around the race car going into 3. Other than that, like it's just making sure you kind of just check your boxes with your pit shots with a brand new car. Other than that, like it's kind of same song, same dance every year you go in there, but you definitely mix up your B-roll and your beauty stuff. That's about it. Yeah. Probably shoot from the rowdy sometimes too, because you always get some free content from the rowdies.
Yeah, for sure. I want to talk about kind of just content creation in general, around dirt racing and, you and SpeedLab have kind of been early in a lot of this. And it seems like, especially here with even in the last couple of months, we've seen a lot more people kind of get involved. Timez has got his channel going. There's some more late model stuff happening. Do you have kind of overall thoughts or feelings about, where content creation is right now in terms of the sport of dirt racing as a whole?
I love the direction that dirt track racing is going. It needed to go in this direction years ago. So to see people like opening up and doing it, like maybe not even going to the full extent of like having a camera guy with you, but like guys are making reels from their phones. They're doing the onboard stuff. Like I love seeing it. I love that we have these driver personalities now, like across all spectrums, dirt, sprint cars, late model, modified, midget, doesn't matter. Like these guys doing it is helping the sport way more than they even realize by doing it. Cause like you don't really get a chance to realize it until like, let's say I go for a weekend in a t-shirt trailer and I'm like helping Joe or whatever. And you just hear all night, like, oh my God, the YouTube channel. I love it. My kids love it. Like Kevin's my favorite character on the YouTube channel. Like it's really cool that people actually notice it and that kind of the work pays off. But yes, like we need all of us collectively need to just keep pushing content out there to promote the sport that we love.
Do you have, I feel like you probably get asked about this, maybe you don't, but like, do you have advice you try to give? Do you get approached, people asking you, how can I do this? What do I need to do? Do you have kind of that, like, here's the XYZ things you need to do to get started? What does that look like?
Just this last week, like, I think it was Jimmy Miller was asking me, like what camera should I get? Like I want to do some of the vlog stuff. I was like, yeah, like just get this camera. This is what I've used for years and I love it. It's a beautiful camera. You can beat the crap out of it. And that's what you need in dirt track racing, something you can beat up. Now you get like a nice camera, nice lens. So you really don't have to go to that extent. Like you can, like Timez records on a GoPro and that is more than enough. Like they make killer killer cameras now, and they make nice little vlog kits. So you can really go crazy with just a little camera, and even just like shooting on your phone. Like the phone cameras are insane now. Like we'll be doing something out like on the race car, and I won't even have my camera set up. I was like, whatever, I'll shoot this on my phone. Like, it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. Do you have, like, if somebody were to approach you and say, hey, I want to get started, do you have like specific things that, they need to do during the course of a night to capture content? Are there certain shots that you would suggest they try to get? Is there certain places to mount the GoPro? Like, give me the like the Dylan Schiebel, like 101 content creator for a night thing.
So if I'm going to a racetrack, for example, the first thing I'm going to do is some sort of establishing shot. Where are we? What are we doing? What car is it? Who are we racing with? So it'll be like something like unloading the car, or literally just us sitting in the pit area. Always gonna shoot like Kevin, Hardy, Lane, whoever's helping us working on the car, whoever's driving for us, like setting up like their seat or whatever. Other than that, it's just make sure that onboard is rolling when you're on the racetrack, or make sure you're recording when it's on the racetrack for whatever you need. And whether you make a long form video out of it by the end of the night, or you're just making little clips to post to Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, doesn't matter. Other than that, just make sure you kind of get like a little recap at the end of the night or at the end of your race of them talking to each other. Maybe if you want to do an interview type thing with the driver, or even if you are the driver talking to the camera and you're making the video yourself, like just those little recap stuff, just everybody really appreciates. Like, I got my structure from all of it from all the F1 teams. They've been doing those behind the scenes videos, like Red Bull, Aston Martin, McLaren, all those guys, great stuff. And I kind of stole their structure a little bit of how to do it.
That was kind of like going to be the other thing that I was going to ask you, is like, what are the inspirations that, who are the people you look to? What are the creators you like? What other, YouTube channels, or, maybe TikTok accounts, or, what are those things that you like to go watch and check out for inspiration?
I think my favorite one, I don't know how many people are gonna know this. I hope people do. The Subaru launch control series.
Mm-hmm.
That is by far my favorite series that any motorsport team has put out for content. Like, they do an insane job of, like, it is a legit documentary, like every month, of how their team is doing and what they're like, how they're progressing through the season, trying to win a championship. They do a great job.
Do you have creators maybe outside of motorsports that you watch? Like I supported Tanner Holmes at the Chili Bowl this year, and talking to him just kind of outside, like he likes Casey Neistat, and I love Casey Neistat as well. Like, are there other creators, maybe of a similar vein that you like outside of motorsports?
Outside of motorsports, really,
you're just all in on racing.
No, I watch a lot of video game stuff, like the Twitch guys will have their YouTube channels, but that would probably be the only other YouTube thing I watch. I think MTV has this show, they've had it for years, called The Challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of just I don't even know how you explain it. It's literally just like the challenge. You have this competition that you're trying to win throughout the season. Blah blah blah. And that's probably something I based a lot of my work off of as well, because the way they kind of like hype up their events every episode, and then just how they structure the background noise, the interviews they do on the side, like in between with the people competing. I would say that one I base a lot of my structure around as well.
What are like some tools, talking about cameras and different ways to shoot things, what are the tools that you use, or, what are some tools that you think people should use afterwards? Are you just like a big Adobe guy? You're with Premiere, Photoshop, are there free things that you think people can use? What are those kind of other software tools that you think are going to be kind of critical to that content creation stuff?
If you're going all in, I would definitely get all the Adobe stuff. That's what I've always used. They all work together very well, especially now with all the new updates. Like I build all the graphics in Photoshop and it transfers over perfectly into After Effects or Premiere, whatever I'm using. There are free softwares. I honestly don't know the names of them, but you can look them up, like literally just Google like Photoshop free, Premiere free. Like there's a ton of free softwares that are really easy to use. I think like all the TikTok guys use like CapCut or whatever on their phone. Like you can literally just edit videos on your phone. So you can do it super easy. But I've always stuck to the Adobe stuff. I love it. I know how to work around it. I got my little setup and I like it.
How did you learn all of this? Is this, I mean, are you self-taught? Are you watching YouTube tutorials? Do you have people that you've asked questions of, that you lean on? Like, what has the learning process been for you to kind of get to this point?
A lot of it has been self-taught, like through all the R Factor stuff, like just staying up all night with my friends doing stuff. Other than that, I think my biggest help in all this, especially with the camera gear and just simple little tricks, is Truex from Tim Truex from Loud Pedal. Like he's probably been my biggest help through all of it. Another one that helped me a ton, that got me to see things from a different perspective, not really a cinematic perspective, but more of a broadcast perspective, is Michael Rigsby, Turn, Michael Reiners, Kane, all of them from Dirt on Dirt when I was with them. They taught me a ton and actually taught me way more than I even realized until after I left. I was like, wow, these guys helped me out a lot and got me a lot further ahead than I realized. No, they really helped me a lot. And I really like that. Huge thank you to them, because I'd still be just some unorganized piece of crap, really.
What can we expect from this Chili Bowl video?
Oh man, it's gonna be a long video. I have like, as of right now recording it, I have all the way through the prelim night done, through the press conference, and it's about 35 minutes already. I think I can cut it down and gonna try to keep it under an hour, but it's gonna be cool. This one's gonna be a little different. It's gonna be more of a documentary than a vlog, because we got some interviews. We have the broadcast audio. We have the press conference interviews. Like we have a bunch of content from this week. I think, oh man, my total, I think I was over 1.5 terabytes this week just on one. Like I had the same day deliver a new hard drive to the house so I could make room for all of it.
How much video, like Chili Bowl aside, how much video do you shoot like on a normal sprint car night? And I've heard the horror stories of you like not sleeping. And obviously we know when you guys get done with a sprint car night and it's like not that long after, all of a sudden there's a YouTube video up. But like how much footage are you capturing in the course of a normal sprint car night, and how much of that like needs to be cut down?
On a normal sprint car night, I could keep it under 300 gigs total between onboards, everything. That's really not bad, especially when like the night goes like sort of smooth. Like you run your races, you cut your stuff, and you just kind of piece it all together, make it look pretty, blah blah blah, and then you post it the next morning. That one's not too hard. But when it gets to this, when I have so many different angles from so many people that just literally gave me footage, can't thank them enough. So I'm going through that. I'm really trying to make sure I mark everything I think looks cool, and I really want to include everything in it. So I'm meticulous when it comes to this video in particular.
Are you also, obviously we know you're going to do a big long YouTube video. Are you also clipping stuff out then for like TikTok and to use across other platforms? It's, if you have like a cool moment or something, are you saving that somewhere else to have that ready for later?
Always. I've actually been a little behind the 8 ball, just kind of getting all this organized, of posting little clips. But yeah, always whenever I make the long form stuff, I just go back and clip it. I'll make like a reel to like whatever song I like. No, there's gonna be weeks worth of clips just to post from this, and it's gonna be a lot. There's gonna be a lot of cool little things to post, and so I hope everyone's excited to see what it looks like, because I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Well, I know you need to get back to some editing. I've had you here for about 30 minutes. What are, if I want you to like inspire people to do this, like what would you say to people that are maybe on the fence about content creation, or maybe they're thinking about it? What are the benefits? What are the reasons for why they need to kind of get more involved in this going forward?
Um, you just get to do some cool stuff. Like it, you can't really explain it. Like I'm not sitting in an office every day like editing video. Like I get to go out to the racetrack, I get to shoot cool stuff, I get to be creative, like get to watch race cars do cool stuff. And that's what I've always wanted to do, and I'm actually like getting to live that dream. So I think no, really all it takes is just like grab a camera and go shoot. Like it is super fun. Like not even just when you win, like single car qualifying, for example. Like I'll sit there all day and watch 100 cars single car qualify. If I just like the angle. I think I love the race cars. You get to travel to so many cool places, like across the country or like wherever. Like you just get to have fun at a racetrack, and that's all that matters.
Give me all the plugs. Where can we find the Speed Lab content? Where can we follow you? Where can we keep up with all things Dylan Schiebel and Swindell Speed Lab?
You can follow all the Swindell Speed Lab stuff at Swindell Speed Lab pretty much anywhere: YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can just follow me at Dylan Schiebel, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Yeah, that's about it for me. But all the Speed Lab stuff, make sure you go watch that, because we got a bunch of stuff coming up. And I can't thank Kevin and Joe enough for kind of letting me like have the creative freedom to promote their brand. And like literally I'm just at the mercy of them almost. Like I have the responsibility of representing a brand, and they let me do a lot on my own and just have the freedom to do it. So I can't thank them enough for trusting me to do that.
Well, I appreciate the time today. Hopefully people will find some value in this, and maybe we can inspire a few more people to get involved. But thanks for the time today, dude.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.